Alrighty, so for this lesson, we are working on MD3. So MD2 was only one lesson, which was probably super exciting after doing all of those lessons in MD3, right? I mean MD1. So MD3 is about area and perimeter, and your standard is that you will be able to use what you know about area and perimeter to solve real world problems involving rectangles. So right here, perimeter is the distance around, okay? So I'm going to take, if you look at this, like this, and this, and this, okay? So that's your perimeter, and I'm going to do my perimeter box the same color just to help with that, okay? So that's perimeter. If you would like to get out another color if it helps you, that would be great. But make sure you're not wasting time, okay? Area is when the area inside, okay? So I'm gonna fill up the inside, and then on our area definition, it says it's the number of square units needed to cover a figure, so square units. So square units look like this. Right? It's a square. So here's one square unit like that. And I'm just going to fill the inside of this. Okay. And there's no overlap. So none of it's overlapping. Our units, when we do perimeter, are not square. Okay. So I always think of, whenever I think of area, I think of like a tile floor or a tile carpet where you have the squares. Okay, but perimeter is just like if you took a measuring tape and measured the distance around. Okay, and hopefully this is just a review from third grade. Okay, so we're gonna find the perimeter of each of these figures. So if you look up here, it says to find the perimeter of a rectangle, add the length and the width, and then times by 2. So we're going to do perimeter, so I'm going to underline it with my perimeter color, which is orange. And so for this one, look again, it says we're going to add the length. Okay, so the length is how long? So we're going to do 12. And then the width. So we're adding them. So 12 plus 6 is 18. And then we have to times that by 2 because we have to get, so here's the 12 plus 6, and then we have to do it with this, okay? So now we have to do 18 times 2. So 8 times 2 is 16. And then we have 1 times 2, which is 2, plus 1 is 3, so 36. So the perimeter would be 36. And then we do need to make sure with perimeter, you can see here's our measurement here, and if we're going back to our measurement, our units, this one is yards. YD is yards, okay? This one, if we're finding the perimeter, it's a square. So the thing about squares is you're not going to have the length and width, okay? Because all the sides in squares are the same. So if you see a square, you know that this is 6. You know this one's going to be 6, this one's going to be 6, and this one's going to be 6. So if I was solving this, I would probably do 6 times 4. So 6 times 4 equals 24. And this one you see is inches. So I'm going to put IN, okay? The other way to do this one, can we go back to this? So we did length plus width, and we times it by 2. The other thing you can do is do 6. So if this is 6, then the opposite sides are the same. So this has to be 6, and if this is 12, then this has to be 12, okay? So you could always add them up, but that's how you find perimeter. So now we're going to find the area of this one. So I'm going to switch to my area color. So area is just length times width, okay? So it would be 3 times 9, because here's our length and here's our width. And when we multiply these two, it's like a multiplication chart. It will tell us how much is filled in, okay? So if you look at it, you can you can turn this into 3 if you're just checking it out. And then this would be 9. So you can see how much work that would be. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So see how we have the tiles? And then we know that 3 times 9 is 27. So our equation is 3 times 9, and then which is length times width, which is what we always do for area. And our area then would be 27, and we have to look what's our units. Our unit is inches. So we have to make sure, and it would be square inches because it's area. So we have to make sure we say SQ. And that the SQ does not change if it, no matter what the unit is. So if it was feet like this, you'll see it over here. So remember, if it's a square and you're like, oh, I only have 1, then you know for length times width, you're going to do 4 times 4 because all the sides are the same if it's a square. Okay, 4 times 4, and it would be 16. And this one is feet, so we're going to do square feet. Okay. You do not, the teacher should never see you doing this. I just wanted you to be able to see, but we should just see you multiplying 3 times 9. It's like the imaginary squares are there. If I needed to buy new floor for my bathroom, I wouldn't draw this out. I would just know how long the bathroom is and how wide the bathroom is, and then I would buy the tile, okay? All right, now we're gonna do some real world problems. So we're gonna have to figure out, am I looking for area to fill a space, or am I trying to find the distance around? So Jamie is putting up a fence around her garden. So I see around, okay? That's giving me the clue of perimeter, but I gotta keep going. How much fencing will she need if the length of the fence is 12 feet and the width is 9 feet, okay? So if we're doing perimeter, I like to draw a quick model. Or area. So we're gonna have our length so here's the garden, okay? And I'm not drawing flowers, I'm not drawing a fence, I'm just drawing a rectangle because I wanna be efficient. So it's 12 feet is the length. So I'm gonna put my 12 here. I'm gonna put my label to help me, feet. I'm gonna put my 9 here, okay? And it's also feet. So we'll do 12 times 9. 2 times 9 is 18. And then 1 times 9 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So that the area, oh my gosh, you guys. I should not have done length times width, should I? I'm supposed to be doing perimeter because we want the distance around. So we need to, sorry about that. So we need to do 9 plus 12. So I'm going to start over here. 2 plus 9 is 11. And then I regroup my 1. 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 1 more is 11. So that's 111. And then we need, so that gives us this part plus this part. So now we need to get those other 2 parts. So we're going to do 111 plus 111. Or you can multiply it by 2. 1 plus 1 is 2, 2, 2. So our equation is, if we're going to put it over here, I want you to watch my full equation because it didn't fit before. I'm going to do 9 plus 12. Okay, and I like to put parentheses. Those are called grouping symbols. It helps us to keep things together. And then we're going to do times 2. Okay, so and then our solution would be 222 feet. And it's not square because we were doing the distance around. So we were just doing how far around would it be. Tina needs to buy a custom frame for a picture from her trip. The length of the picture is 8 inches and the width is 6 inches. How many square inches of glass will she need? So on this one, I'm switching to area because it's asking how many square inches, and we're talking about the glass. So if I had a picture, sometimes we gotta think real life like this, and I wanna get a frame. This part would be the frame part, but when we buy a frame, the glass is included. So we're gonna find the area, okay? So it says the length is 8 inches, and then the width is 6 inches. So area is length times width. So we're just gonna do 6 times 8, okay? So over here, let's write 6 times 8 because that's our equation, and the solution is 48, and it's not just inches because we're filling this, right? So it's square inches. And keep in mind that a square inch, all that means is that it's an inch in every direction. So it's going to be an inch this way, an inch this way, an inch this way, and an inch that way. And it would be like little tiles, okay? Craig bought a new rug for his bathroom. The perimeter of the rug is 24 feet, and the length is 8 feet. What is the width of his new rug? Oh, so we're doing something different this time. So let me flip this out. So this time, we have this rug, okay? So let's make it. We know that the whole thing is 24, and we know that the length, so all the sides together, the perimeter is going to be 24, okay? And I know that the length is 8, okay? And all together it's 24. So I have to think, so if this is 8, that means this is going to be 8. So I know 8 plus 8 is 16. So I'm going to do 24 minus 16, and that's going to give me 8, okay? So now I have 8 left over. So that means that, oh no, the lights. That means that this side these sides together have to equal this 8 that's left so that the perimeter will be 24, okay? So I'm going to split my 8 in 2. I know that half of 8 is 4, so I'll put 4 and 4, okay? So they wanted to know the width, okay? So our equation is that we did, that's a tricky equation. I'm trying to think. We did 8, so we did 8 times 2, right? And I'm going to use my grouping symbols to sort it into steps. And then I knew I had 8 left. And then it would be plus, and we'll do a variable, plus, this was the width, so plus W times 2 parentheses equals 24. Because this is our variable, that's the part that we were trying to find out. And then our answer is 4, and it was feet. Okay? All right. Ava's family was looking for a new house. They wanted to find Ava a room that was at least 220 square feet. So they want the room to be 220. The house they were looking at today has a room for Ava that was 10 feet by 12 feet. What is the area of the room, and is it big enough? Ooh, okay, so I'm going to write over here. They want it to be 220 square feet, right? That's what they want. The room that they looked at today was 10 by 12, okay? If we find the area, we have to do 10 times 12, and that's going to give us 120, because I know 10 times 12, I just add the 0. So our solution is so the area of the room is 120 square feet. And then the question is it big enough? And the answer is no, because they wanted 220. Okay? All right. Carrie's classroom was a square with each side measuring 15 feet. Ooh, that is a terrible square. We got to at least make it look like all sides are the same, right? So that means 15, 15, 15, and 15. Okay? What is the area of her class? So it doesn't matter. Remember, if we're doing area, we want length times the width. So over here, we're going to do 15 times 15 as our equation to find the area of this room. So let's do that right here. So we're going to do 15 times 15. We do 5 times 5 and get 25. 1 times 5 is 5, 6, 7. We put the 0 because we're going to multiply by the tens. We use this 2, so we need to cross it out. 1 times 5 is 5, and then 1 times 1 is 1. 5 plus 0 is 5. 7 plus 5 is 12. And 1 plus 1 is 2. So our answer is 225 square feet.